This is a map of Vinton, Iowa that shows the way a raindrop would flow across the landscape were it to fall in the hills outside of town. It can teach us a lot about the way that water flows through town, but it can't always tell us about the experiences of the residents in town. For instance, residents in this part of town experience a lot of stormwater backup in their basements, which is the result more of the stormwater infrastructure of Vinton rather than any flooding on the Cedar River itself. Similarly, the map can't tell us stories like the one I heard in Vinton about a woman and her husband who kept the cows on their porch during the historic 2008 flood so that they wouldn't drown. My name is Paul Schmitt, and I am the Flood Resilience Community Engagement Intern for Iowa Valley RC&D this summer. This is an internship funded by the Mellon Foundation through the Obermann Center at the University of Iowa. Part of my internship experience has been to facilitate a few community engagement events in Vinton. We've been calling these community conversations because we wanted to foster social relationships between those who've experienced flooding in Vinton. We wanted to get them to think both about their own experiences with flooding in town and the experiences of others, in ways that they have been resilient in the past and the ways that we could continue becoming more resilient to flooding in the future. One of the things I'm doing with these stories is to incorporate them into a story map. We're calling this project Flood Resilient Vinton. And this story map shows Vinton both in a context of larger watersheds such as the Middle Cedar, and subwatersheds such as Mud Creek and Hinkle Creek that flow around town. And also thinking about the historic floods throughout the past century in Vinton, going all the way back to 1929, where flooding knocked out the municipal power plant for 10 days. These story maps are meant to be interactive so that residents in Vinton and other people throughout Iowa and the country can learn about what it means to be a flood resilient community. Another story map I've been working on this summer is a map of Vinton's flood vulnerabilities and resiliences. So on the left, you can see the vulnerabilities in Vinton. You can click on any of these icons and up will pop a little bubble with a little bit of history. For instance, it's a vulnerability in Vinton that its municipal electric utility is on the river, right on the Cedar River. This is the same power plant that flooded in 1929. Likewise, the fire department building is also right on the Cedar River. So it's important to be aware of these vulnerabilities, both in Vinton, but also to think about other towns like it around the country. If you slide this bar over to the left, you can start seeing the resiliences of the town. For instance, after the 2008 flood, the Benton County Disaster Recovery Coalition formed and is continuing operations to this day as a 501c3, helping residents recover from all forms of natural disasters in town by getting them the resources they need after a major event. Also important is just the fact that a stream gauge in the Cedar River was installed in 2008 that automatically records information about the Cedar River. Our hope is that this information will be informational to both Vinton residents and also help the Iowa Flood Center, our partners, and the Iowa Watershed Approach as they continue doing work throughout the state of Iowa. In addition to meeting with really memorable people in Vinton, I've also really learned a lot about my own research as I study environmental humanities and issues of infrastructure and literature. So, altogether, this has been a great experience as a Humanities for the Public Good intern through the Obermann Center.